Thrill Me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Heyo, and welcome to the Reveal It Rob Show. I am, of course, your host, Reveal It Rob, coming at you with all of the latest goodies in the form of movie news, baby. Hope everybody out there has been doing great, man. And up front, upstart, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Please hit the like and subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast at, man. Appreciate you joining along with me as well, man. Please check out the Thrill Me Podcast Network. We got all kinds of shows to meet you fancy. We've got this show that you've stumbled upon. You've also got the Metal Groove Podcast, the Haunters Podcast, Mr. Wonderful Show, and Improper Guidance, man. All fantastic shows that I'm proud to be part of this network. Hit us up on the YouTube, on the Instagram, on the TikTok, on the Facebook, man. We're everywhere. Just find us by searching Thrill Me Podcast Network or hashtag Thrill Me, man, and you'll get all of the thrilling that you could ever hope for. Whoa, struggled a little bit there, man. Came in hot on this episode. Struggled a little bit. Talked over myself, but hey, man, I'm in a pretty decent mood. Had myself a pretty awesome weekend hanging out with my broski, Mr. Tombstone Josh. We watched some fun things like Rockstar, the movie Rockstar, and then we talked about it on his show, The Metal Groove, this week, doing the Movies That Rock segment. Got to talk about that, man, so that was a good time. Always love hanging out with my brother, and we had a good time there. And then, of course, I try to, well, you'll see it if you follow the Throw Me Podcast TikTok. We got some stuff up there, and I did a couple TikToks, did a trailer reaction to the Beavis and Butthead trailer, the trailer for the new version of the show that is coming, the reboot. I don't think it's a reboot. I think it's the continuation of Beavis and Butthead on the Paramount Plus streaming service. So I did a reaction to that trailer over the weekend, kind of getting into the TikTok thing, man. I thought I would never have one of those, but here we are. I mostly got it for the Throw Me Podcast Network, and I'm having a good time with it, man. So, again, come join, have fun with us, man. Let's see, anything else going on that I need to talk about? No, not really. So let's go ahead and jump into the news for this week's episode. A lot of horror news this week, and a good bit of DC news this week, man. So this is a good week, to say the least. But first news I want to talk about here is Rob Zombie. His Monsters. So the trailer finally debuted for Rob Zombie's Monsters since the last time we talked, and obviously it's met with mixed reviews. You have your standard Rob Zombie haters out there who are going to hate any and everything that man does. I have no idea why, but that's the way the world works, man. People like to hate on stuff because it's quote cool or whatever. But I thought the trailer looked fun. Obviously, it's a completely different take on the Monsters, which is to be expected. A lot of times, that's what happens when things get rebooted and remade. A new take from a new creative artist comes in and goes on to it. I think it looks pretty fun. I'm interested into it. Looks like it's gonna be a good, fun time to say the least. And we got some interesting news today. Via Rob Zombie's Instagram, where he posted that his monster film will, in fact, be heading over to Netflix. It'll be debuting on the streaming service. So that's kind of a shocker, because I think everybody was expecting it to go to Peacock, since it is a Universal film. But no, it is heading over to Netflix, which is like doubly cool, because Netflix also has the Addams Family show Wednesday debuting on Netflix later this year as well, starring the amazingly incredible Jenna Ortega. So that is freaking awesome, man. I mean, if you're like me, I mean, I love both shows. I'm obviously more of an Addams Family fan myself, but I've always enjoyed the Munsters, and it's so cool to think that both of them are going to be on Netflix. They're both going to be probably debuting around the same time. Not really a release date for either one yet. You got Comic-Con coming up, so maybe we'll get something along the lines around then. But it's exciting to think that both of those properties that came out in the 60s are always throughout the years and the decades have always been loved and celebrated are now going to both be coming out with something new around the same time, and both will be on the same streaming platform for the fans to have a little bit of an easier go finding both shows, man. So nonetheless, I think it's fantastic news. I'm into it. I'm glad that they are both going to be in the same streaming platform. Can't wait to check out both of them. Looks like the story for Rob Zombie's Monsters film is going to be about, kind of like an origin tale, focusing on, like Herman's creation, the courtship with Lily, or Lily, courtshiping Herman, based on the trailer. Lily's trying to find a love, so it's like a love story from Rob Zombie, so that's fun. It's a hilarious trip from Transylvania to Hollywood. So, it's an origin tale, so this will explain why we haven't really seen any of the kids or anything of that nature. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Again, no release date at the moment, but both will be streaming on Netflix later this year. So hyped and excited for that, man. Also, something to be hyped and excited about over at Netflix and horror related, Fear Street, man. Rumors are circulating about Fear Street having some more content coming our way. As of course, the three films we got hit with most recently over on Netflix did very well for the streaming platform, and a lot of people are loving it, hoping for a Halloween Horror Nights house to happen with the Netflix deal that Halloween Horror Nights has. We'll see. Nothing's been announced yet. I don't look at speculation maps, so I don't know what's on there. I don't care what's on there because who cares about speculation maps? But I enjoyed the Fear Street three films that we got before. I thought all three of them were rather entertaining. I grew up loving the Goosebumps books and show, so anytime I hear R.L. Stein's got something coming, I'm into it. I'm interested in it, and again, I enjoyed those three films. So R.L. Stein was talking about this recently and said, "quote I hear rumors about more Fear Street movies for Netflix because the first ones did so well last summer. Those films kind of shocked me because they were all rated R. I've never done anything R rated. All those teenagers were getting slashed. I was like, suddenly I have a slasher movie." Yes. Now, while this is rumors, Bloody Disgusting, the horror news website itself, has said that Netflix is indeed in deep development on the next Fear Street series. So, yes, it's sad, could be happening, man. Nothing concrete and confirmed yet, but I think you'd have to be crazy not to do some more Fear Street stuff, especially with the success you've already had with the Fear Street on Netflix, man. Look at Netflix. Netflix is in the horror realm in a big bad way, especially with these horror shows. I know Addams Family and Monsters aren't like traditional horror; they're more, kooky and spooky and all that stuff. But still, Halloween feel and that vibe and all that stuff. So that's cool. And then now you get the Fear Street stuff because it's always been like kind of like a funny joke, and you've seen the memes like Netflix has horrible horror movies and all that stuff, and I don't know if that's necessarily true. I haven't gone through every single movie Netflix has on there, but some of the horror movies are a little stinks for sure. But that's cool, man. More power, more to it. I love me some horror stuff. Let's see. Continuing in the horror news, Samara Weaving, who's been pretty well known in the horror realm with Ready or Not and the Babysitter films, has joined Scream 6, man. Scream 6's cast continues to grow as they are ramping up for the release of that film next year. Samara, love her. She's a very talented lady, and she has worked with the team that is behind the Scream 6 film. They're behind Scream 5, and they will be behind Scream 6 with the, again, before mentioned Ready or Not film, which if you've not seen that, go check it out. Fantastic film. Also joining the cast is Tony. I'm going to mess up his last name. Sorry, Rivalry. Rivalry. I suck at names. You'll know him from Spider-Man, the most recent Spider-Man films. Spider-Man No Way Home. Pretty sure the last name's like Revelori or something like that. He played, of course, Flash Thompson in the Spider-Man film, Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. So it's cool. He's joined the cast as well for the next Scream outing. Again, my feelings about the next Scream movie are a little, hit or miss, I guess. I wasn't overly excited about what I saw in Scream 5. So we'll see how Scream 6 turns out. I didn't hate Scream 5 by any means. I'm not going to go as far as to say I hated the film, but I wasn't overall a big fan of it. But again, amazingly a fantastic, incredible Jenna Ortega is in the film, so I will gladly see it and support it for that reason alone. Let's see, I'm jumping over to DC news. Some interesting development here with the Batgirl film that is coming. Apparently, according to an updated release schedule circulated by Warner Brothers UK, Batgirl is scheduled to hit cinemas in the UK in 2023, though a release date is not yet available. Let me backtrack. Scheduled to hit cinemas in the United Kingdom in 2023. As far as the United States goes, the film looks like it's still expected to release exclusively on HBO Max and is slated to hit HBO Max in the United States this year, sometime in 2022. And again, Comic-Con is later this week. I will have more news from Comic-Con on next week's episode, so maybe we'll get some kind of insight on what's going on with the Batgirl film at the moment. But again, at this time, the film is scheduled to release on HBO Max here in the States, and in the United Kingdom, it will be hitting cinemas in 2023, so next year. Again, it is unclear if the film's 2023 United Kingdom delay is also the delay that we'll see here in the U.S. We don't know. Again, hopefully Comic-Con will shed some more light on this. I always thought it was a little interesting, the fact that the film was going to be a HBO Max exclusive, especially when you have Michael Keaton in the Batman role. I don't know how you put that on HBO Max instead of putting that in theaters, or at least same day. So it's interesting to say the least. Obviously it's a Bat related property, so I love the Bat family, so I'm definitely excited for the film. I just need some more information, man. Where are we going with all this stuff? Now the directors of this film also directed, I want to say I believe it was the first and last episodes of the Miss Marvel show that is currently on Disney Plus. Maybe it's already stopped airing. I haven't watched a single episode. Nothing against the show. You already know I'm not the biggest Marvel person, so I'm not in a hurry to watch these properties. I haven't even finished Moon Knight, man. But it's interesting. They were talking about the differences between Miss Marvel and Batgirl, and obviously Batgirl is darker tone, normally as it goes, because I can get into that, but obvious. And they were talking about like timelines and universes and all that stuff of where this will fit. And of course, there's questions about that because you have, again, as mentioned before, Michael Keaton's Batman will be in the Batgirl film. You've got J.K. Simmons, who played Commissioner Gordon in James Gordon. He played James Gordon in the DCEU, the most recent Batman films, the Zack Snyder films. So timeline is all over the place. Now, obviously, this film, I mean, if it's still coming this year, it'll be coming out before the Flash film, which I don't know is the best idea. I would probably want to wait till after the Flash film, especially since the Flash film is supposed to restart all this stuff and be a soft reboot, quote, soft reboot of the DCEU, and introducing the multiverse and all that stuff. So, who knows, man? We'll see where everything's going there. We still have Black Adam coming out this year, so Black Adam, Shazam. I think I said that wrong. Shazam, Fury of the Gods also coming this year as well in December. So got those two properties, which are very connected to one another. Rumors about a certain credit scene in the Black Adam, which could probably, tie to a DCEU universe. Interesting things, man. And again, I keep bringing it up. Comic-Con is happening this week, so we should be getting a little something. We already know Black Adam and Shazam both will be shown at Comic-Con, and there's been no announcement of DC fandom yet this year. So most of DC's news could probably be coming from Comic-Con this week, man. So again, can't wait to talk about that on next week's episode. Maybe a special episode before next week's episode, depending on how the news drops and all that. But interesting to see where things go. Also interesting to see where things go when it comes to DC is that James Gunn, man. James Gunn has been heavily working on multiple DC projects, it seems. Warner Brothers, of course, enlisted Gunn for several DC projects after the success of his version of the Suicide Squad film, which, has people wondering if there will be a sequel to the Suicide Squad film. And Gunn kind of offered a response to this in a recent interview with The Playlist, saying, quote, "I am working very seriously on another DC project where I'm very involved in the writing and direction of it." Continuing on, he says, quote, "There will be some blending of the characters from Peacemaker and the other shows I'm working on, and I'm involved with a couple of other DC things too." One project that Gunn has confirmed is Peacemaker Season 2. We do know that is happening. He stated that he plans to incorporate more DC characters into the show, yet unsure if any other Justice League members will appear in the upcoming season of Peacemaker. Quote, "We haven't even announced any TV series yet." Continuing on, saying there's a lot of stories out there about what's happening, and some of them are accurate, some of them are not. When asked about a potential sequel to his reboot, Gunn said that there have been discussions between him and DC execs, but nothing is set in stone at the moment. Quote, "Yeah, we've talked about it, but the honest truth is I just have so many hours in a day to work on stuff, and I had such a fun time working in television that I really think that's what I'm going to spend the next year of my life doing." So, a lot of rumors about what the next DC show that James Gunn will be working on. We've had the Amanda Waller rumors. We've had the, I want to say Bloodshot rumors. We've had a lot of rumors about what DC stuff James Gunn's working on. All I have to say is I don't care what it is. I am in. That man. I just said Bloodshot, didn't I? Jesus. Bloodsport. Bloodsport. There's been talk of a Bloodsport show, of course, as the character Idris Elba played in the Suicide Squad film. Um, we'll see what happens, man. But again, I'm super stoked and excited about anything that James Gunn is going to bring us as far as his DC stuff goes, because I think his Suicide Squad film was awesome. And I'm not one of those people who hated the other Suicide Squad film. I enjoyed it for what it was, had a good time with it. I've watched it several times and always enjoyed it. And no, I'm not a Jared Leto Joker hater either. I like what he brings. I love it when there's something new and creative brought to a character. So we'll see where everything ends up going as far as that goes. But into it, man. Excited about everything that James Gunn could be bringing. Speaking of excited about things, everything that a person could be bringing, you know me very well. I love Andrew Garfield. That is my boy. One of my favorite actors, if not my all-time favorite actor. You know what? Number one for me, favorite actors, Tom Cruise, Andrew Garfield, and then there's everybody else. Eventually I'll probably do a top 10 list of my favorite actors and share with everybody, as well as actresses. Don't want to leave the actresses out. But Tom Cruise and Andrew Garfield, love them in a big bad way. Andrew Garfield, so he's been having a very successful run recently. Tick Tick Boom was a huge success. My favorite film of last year. His performance was nominated, as well as the film was nominated for multiple Oscars. He should have won, not Will Smith, but we're not going to get into that. He was in The Eyes of Tammy Faye, fantastic movie. Jessica Chastain won an Oscar for her performance, which she rightfully deserved. Reprised his role. I think it's time that we can talk about it. It's been a long time here. Spoiler alerts if you haven't. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He returned as Spider-Man in Spider-Man No Way Home. And now he most recently did a show for FX called Under the Banner of Heaven, where he landed his first Emmy nomination. One of the few actors, anybody that's gotten an Oscar and Emmy nomination this close before in the same year. And he will be headlining yet another limited series project called Hot Air, which is getting a lot of streaming heat up. A lot of streaming platforms are clamoring at the bits to get their hands on this one. Andrew will be playing Richard Branson. You may have heard of him. He's the famous British entrepreneur. The story is written by John Croker. The 6-part Hot Air show is based on the book Dirty Tricks by award-winning investigative journalist Martin Gregory. It tells the story of billionaire Branson and the fascinating, outrageous rise of Virgin Airways. So that should be interesting. Again, Andrew's in it. I'm freaking all in for this. Love Andrew. I think he's a fantastic actor. So I can't wait to see this show. I still need to watch Under the Banner of Heaven. I believe I've seen it on Hulu, and I just, for some reason, have started. You know me. If you listen to the show, I have so many shows that I haven't started, or shows that I have started and have finished or continued on. Looking at you, Riverdale Rob. Looking at you, Mando Rob. Both those. In all fairness, Obi-Wan came. It just, I had to watch that show. I had to watch that show. So I'll get back in there eventually. But Can't wait, man. Love me some Andrew Garfield stuff. Is this my last bit of news here? All right, last bit of news. The Powerpuff Girls are coming back. I've talked about the Powerpuff Girls before on this show with the live action series. I'll have an update on that one here in a moment. But the Powerpuff Girls, the Cartoon Network super show, big show for the Cartoon Network back in the day. It's about the three Supergirls, Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. They face off against supervillains like Mojo Jojo, all while dealing with issues of being young children face while growing up. You know, so fantastic show. I enjoyed it growing up in my time. I want to say it debuted in like 1998 or so. So I had a good time watching that show growing up. Always loved it, and was entertained by it. It ran for many seasons and multiple episodes, and it was canceled or it ended, and then move forward a couple years ago, not too long ago, they did a reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. Different style animation, I believe it was as well. I didn't watch. I think that lasted for about 3 seasons, and then that was ended, and then nothing else has really gone on other than the live action show that they've been talking about doing. And they've shot some things. We've seen the pictures and all that stuff. The fantastic Dove Cameron is in the show. I love Dove Cameron. She's a very talented actress and singer. So I think, but it was hit with like a lot of negative, which sadly is the way the world is when, you try to do something with a property that a lot of people hold dear to their heart from when they're younger. It's like, how dare you touch my property? Whatever, dude. um, so the live action show has faced some issues developmental wise, and apparently they've reshot the pilot because of negative feedback from executives, and they lost the actor who was playing Blossom. So yeah, that show is, however, still in the works. They have not canceled that. That's still planned to happen. I want to say it's happening at the CW. CW series, live action series for the CW. We'll see where it ends up going. Maybe this reboot of the Powerpuff Girls cartoon is gonna, bring some attention. It will be on Cartoon Network. Warner Brothers, of course, are working on that. So whether it's an HBO Max original cartoon show or if it's on Cartoon Network itself, who knows at the moment? But it is happening, man. So if you're a Powerpuff Girls fan, growing up like myself, there is some interest, hopefully, that you'll have here. I'm sure you're going to meet it with hesitation because some people do that when something comes back that they loved when they were a child, but we'll see how it goes. And again, I'm going to give this live action show a fair shake. I haven't seen anything of it other than photos that have been released of the cast itself. And of course, now we need a new person to play Blossom. So we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see how it goes. I'll check it out when we get there. But as for this, man, that was the news, dude. That was all the news. Some interesting news tidbit articles there for sure. Normally, this is the part of my show where I go into the what's releasing this week. But, however, I'm deciding that I want to do something different with the what's releasing this week portion of the show. I'm going to turn that into content for the YouTube page. So again, that's why hopefully you'll join and like and subscribe to the Throw Me Podcast Network YouTube page as well as TikTok, where we'll be bringing more exclusive content and things of that nature like that. I'll be moving the what's released this week fun stuff. I think it'll be fun to do that over there, and it helps make these episodes not as long. So that's going to be a good time. So news there, done. Moving now to our review, man. So going to go ahead and cue up the trailer like we normally do, and then I'll be back to give my thoughts on this week's movie, which is the Bob's Burgers movie. I'll be back.
Are you hungry for something good? Something juicy? How you doing? What? Something beefy. What is going on?
Ta-da! Fresh hot burgers, sexy burgers.
Glenn.
What? It's summer and sex sells, baby.
Big things are coming for summer, Tina.
Take off those bulky jeans to be more aerodynamic. Oh, you're doing it already. Great.
Big things like that heat rash you get sometimes.
Bigger.
Stay low, follow my lead.
Come see. Like this?
I think we got it. That last one was good.
Okay.
Not what I was expecting. I'm the marketing department. I took Jean's burger suit, let out the crotch a little bit, and bam.
A burger with a bikini on it?
Yeah. I get it. No questions from this guy.
Alright, welcome back to the show. That was the trailer for the Bob's Burgers movies, which is rated PG-13 for rude / suggestive material and language. It is a comedy, comes in at 1 hour and 42 minutes, and I watched this on HBO Max. The Bob's Burgers movie is an animated big screen musical comedy mystery adventure based on the long-running Emmy-winning series. The story begins when a ruptured water main creates an enormous sinkhole right in front of Bob's Burgers, blocking the entrance indefinitely and ruining the Belcher's plans for a successful summer. While Bob and Linda struggle to keep the business afloat, the kids try to solve a mystery that could save the family's restaurant. As the dangers mount, these underdogs help each other find hope and fight to get back behind the counter where they belong. Rotten Tomatoes has a critic score of 87% and an audience score of 89%, so they're pretty close there. Critic score and audience score, as IMDb has it at a 7.2 out of 10. All right, man. So, Bob's Burgers movie. Don't watch the show all that much. I have seen episodes of the show and I have enjoyed it. It's not something I watch on the regular. It's something I've only really caught when I at moments in time where I only had like an antenna, and you can catch Bob's Burgers shows on reruns on that. So that's when I've seen the show, and again, I enjoyed some parts of it. Didn't become a huge fan by any means, but I enjoyed parts of the show. So I remember when I saw the trailer come on in theaters. I remember while I was waiting for a movie to start, and it was like, well, that's interesting. Bob's Burgers is getting a movie. That's pretty cool. I'll check it out eventually one day. Wasn't going to see it in theaters, and now I got to see it here on HBO Max. So, what did I think of the film overall? I kind of how I felt about the show. I mean, the movie's 1 hour and 42 minutes. It's a very extended, long episode of the show. It's what it feels like. I think there's definitely things that could have been cut out of this for sure that made it longer than it needed to be. But the movie probably could have been like an hour and 20 minutes. I don't think it needed to really be as long as it was. Wasn't a big fan of the musical numbers in it. There's a couple, maybe 3, 4 different musical numbers in the film. And again, that's nothing against musicals. Again, my favorite film last year was a musical in Tick, Tick, Boom. So I like musical movies, but I didn't like the musical parts of the movie. The comedy bits and all that stuff. I mean, it's like, I mean, the best way to describe it is the show. From what I've seen in the episodes of the show that I have seen, this movie is basically that, just, extended out, longer to be in movie formats. And I think that's, some parts good because there were jokes that got me to laugh. There was definitely moments during the film that I did leave maybe some laughs. I'm not gonna sit here and act like the movie was dull or boring or anything like that. I think it's, it hit in parts for me, for sure. The mystery adventure part of it I found interesting. I like mystery adventure stuff. So when that stuff is happening in the film, I enjoyed it. Like, I think those parts of the films were fun, and the kind of the normal raunchy comedy aspects that you kind of get from it, from the show, works out in its ways here in the movie. I don't know. It's not something that I, will probably ever watch again, to be fair. I it didn't leave like a lasting impression on me. I just finished watching it before recording this episode. So, I mean, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It didn't, hit, I guess, I don't know what I was looking for going into this movie, because I don't watch a whole lot of animated films that much anymore. I know this is more of a adult cartoon, if you will, PG-13, so parental guidance. So it's still, marketed towards a younger audience, but adults can watch it and pick up on the suggestive material aspects of it all and those things of that nature. And, I don't know, man. The movie, like I said, it felt like a longer version of the show. Like, Some stuff is good. Some stuff was, didn't hit with me. Not gonna say bad because some people will probably think it's good. Like I said, I'd never, ever, ever tell somebody not to watch a movie. Like, that's not my job here. I just tell you how I feel about the movie, and then you decide if you want to watch it or not. If you enjoy the show, I'm sure you'll have a good time with the movie. I just think it's a little too long. I could have cut the musical numbers out. That would have saved some time. I liked the mystery adventure aspects of the movie the most. There were some comedy bits that did get me to laugh or snicker every now and then, but for the most part, I was kind of like, with the movie. It's just, a meh feeling. Like, okay, cool. I watched it. I'm good. Don't need to see it again. I'm fine. Kind of like how it was with the show, honestly. Like I said, I watched episodes of it, but it's not something I ever search out. It's only something that I ever watched when I had no other choice. Had other choices, but I'm like, oh, cool, I'll check it out. And then again, kind of like this movie, it got me to laugh every now and then, but sometimes just, falls flat for me. And that's the way it is sometimes with things. So yeah, Bob's Burgers, the movie, was an alright film. If you enjoyed the show, I think you'll enjoy this. The credits have something at the very end for you to get an extra laugh there at the end, so they got that going on. But yeah, overall for me, it didn't hit fully. Like I said, there's some stuff I like, but overall, it's a movie that's not going to leave too lasting of an impression on me, and it's a movie I'm not going to need to ever watch again or seek out to watch again on purpose. So there you go. That would be my thoughts on the Bob's Burgers movie. Let me know if you've seen the movie, what you thought of it, if you enjoyed it. But that's be it for me, man. That'll do it for this episode. Yeah, you hit the news and we got our review for this week, man. I appreciate all the people who, join in and listen to me ramble on these episodes. Again, follow the Thrill Me Podcast Network on all the streaming platforms. Listen to all our shows. That's the Metal Groove, the Haunters Podcast, the Mr. Wonderful Show, Improper Guidance, and of course my show that you're already listening to, so hopefully you've already liked and subscribed there. Please follow us on YouTube, help that grow, share with your friends, hit the like, hit the subscribe. You'll find all kinds of content on there, from chip challenges to trailer reactions to video gameplay to video versions of the podcast to all other kinds of things fun that we can have on there. And again, all you gotta do is search Thrill Me Podcast Network on YouTube, on Instagram, and Facebook. You'll find us very easily. And of course, search hashtag Thrill Me for an extra way to look for us, or when you're sharing our show, Thrill Me, and be part of the community, man. But as always, appreciate you taking the time to listen to me goof around every now and then, talking about something I love, man, and that's movies. I appreciate you, and hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, week, month, year, whenever you're listening to this show. And remember, that, as always, that happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.
Thank you for joining me this week. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to get updates on all new episodes. As well, follow me on Twitter at review_it_Rob. Stay tuned for more adventures.